Hello, my friends. How are you today? It's Rachel, and today we are going to make another ephemera holder, only we're going to make a big one. A big one. I've got a tall book to use for this. How tall is this? I haven't even measured it yet. It is about 12 and a half inches high. That's a tall one. So that's what we're going to make today. So we're basically going to do kind of the same thing we've done like with these smaller ones I've made, only on a larger scale. But for me, I'm going to do the spine a little bit differently in this one, just because this is a thinner book. If you have a big enough or wide enough spine that is big enough for the amount of signatures and papers that you want to include, you can do the method that I did in these other videos. So I will have those linked down below. But I'm actually going to cut out the spine of this one because it's too thin and add a spine. And so it'll kind of be like when I do the little golden books and stuff like that. We cut out the spine and add a wider one. So that is the plan for this book. So, and as far as how wide it is, let me tell you that too. It is 9 inches wide. So yeah, it was absolutely disgusting on on the cover, and so I cleaned that off with some bleach wipes, and stuff still wasn't coming off. So I used a magic eraser, and I got some of the stains on it because it had kind of looked like somebody used this as like their coffee cup holder, and like the back is just still kind of, I did as best as I could because it started to pull the color off. So this is an old, let's look at these real quick. So I've made these three. This one is obviously my Halloween one. This one I'm doing for flowers, and this one is for animals. So mostly birds up front. And then I've got that mammal book I cut out. And so, yeah, I've got quite a bit of room still left in these, which is perfect. But I have kind of been thinking about making a taller one. And then Rachel made the big one on her channel, I think either last week or the week before. And I was like, yes, let's do a big one because I want something for some taller papers and for tags and labels. I recently got a printable with a bunch of tags and labels, and there's just pages of them. They're so pretty. And I've been using this. And I kind of talked about, I think, this in the other videos too. It's a photo book I got from Dollar Tree, and I sewed across the pockets, across the pockets, cut underneath to make other pockets. So I got a bunch of like Tracy labels in here and stuff. And it works okay for those. It's just like some of these papers from this set here, I put in here, and so it starts to get a little bit bigger, and you know what I mean. And then I've got stamps in here as well. So what I think I want to do is maybe keep this book for the absolute tiniest things. So like the stamps, kind of these small tiny labels that I cut out is what I'm thinking. Because I still want to use this. This is still usable, but like these papers, I should have somewhere else really. I like having everything cut out so I can just grab and use. Like those labels I got, there's some smaller ones, but I plan on kind of leaving them together. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. So here's the book. It's already falling apart. And I can't remember what. Oh, I thought this was the music book. It's not. Why am I not using... I'm going to have to check it out before I start cutting it apart. But it's an old world atlas and gazetteer book. I love these maps in here. Like, I'm not getting rid of the guts at all. I love these pages and stuff. And all of these pictures, I mean, especially the state maps are really cool. This book smells. I think I've been keeping this on my front porch too because of the smell. My front porch is enclosed, but it's not like heated or cooled. But anyway, so that is the plan. This is the book I want to use. I thought I had a different one, but there may be a reason why I decided not to use that one. I don't know. But yeah, so I have cut a piece of this cardboard from this Master's Touch. This is from Hobby Lobby. This watercolor paper is awful. Absolutely awful. But I like using it for other stuff, and I've been using it for like spine template. Anyway, so I cut part of that because that was the tallest thing I had, and it is almost as tall as the book. So yeah, that's going to be a little weird having it a little bit shorter, but this is the thickest and tallest thing I had, so I may change that out. I don't know. I don't think they sell anything kind of taller than that unless I order it from Amazon, but this is like the plan for now. Okay, so then this is the fabric I'm going to use. So like I said, I'm going to do this kind of like the little golden books and stuff. Cut off the front and back covers and sit the covers here. And I cut this, or I ripped it really, to pretty wide because I want this, well, it'll be up to a little higher. So it won't come too far over, but this is going to be pretty big. And this, I have been going back and forth about what fabric to use, trying to talk myself into going back to the craft store. So yeah, so this is going to go on the spine. Now, this is one of the things I got from Joann Fabrics. I already have this paper. I already have it. But I wanted one specifically for this. And I needed to have all the papers. Listen to me talking about I needed to have all the papers. Listen, I'm just extra, remember? So these pages aren't big enough for this book, right? Because like I said, this was, 9 inches? And so my pages are probably going to have to be probably about 8 3/4 or 8.5. And that's, these pages are 12, so half is 6, right? So we're going to do what Rachel did in hers, which was use 2 pages with some double-sided tape, or you could use glue. I kind of want to use this up to connect them, but I didn't want to use 2 different pages. I want to use the same page connected to kind of keep it cohesive because I'm not using as busy of pages as kind of like she used in hers. So I got this paper pad. They had half off of all their stacks. Actually, I think these, the big deal ones by Parkleen, these were 60% off, but everything else was half off. I love this paper stack. It is so pretty. It's absolutely beautiful. I already have it. I've used, I think, a couple of pages. I may not have even used any pages out of it. But I know how I am too, and I know I'm stingy with paper and using it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get a new one, use whatever pages I want out of it. And I did okay picking them out. I realized I was picking out a bunch that had a lot of green on the back. So I had, I think, 4 pages at first with a lot of green. So I went back and picked and swapped. Maybe it was just 3 that was green. But I swapped them out. So I really wanted something neutral. Even the darker colors in here are pretty neutral. It's just such a pretty pad. I love it. So neutral, a couple of them are a little darker. It'll be totally fine. On the Halloween one, I used single-sided papers, and I kind of missed having that double-sided paper look to it too. Like, I wanted it to look pretty when I open it. I'm just being honest. So yeah, so we'll see how, I'm already looking at how I want to do the signatures. We'll see. Maybe I have 2 neutral of papers. I might swap a couple out. But that's why I wanted the full pad in case I needed another one. So what we're going to have to do is fold over the top or one of the sheets. And we'll have to cut another one down to fit, basically, to make it big enough. So I kind of watched her. I'll have her channel link down below of how she figured out what size. And of course, that's going to kind of be different for everyone because it depends on the size of your book. So that is what the plan is. And then I picked out, oh gosh, this Park Lane Mystical Magic pad. This is single-sided. Because some of the papers in here kind of match the mothy aesthetic. And see, now that I'm kind of looking at it, see, this would be really cute. I have some moth fabric. Let me get that out. Maybe since we're going mothy, you know, I should, here it is. How would this look on the, oh gosh, I like this more. I love the other one, but like this is just gonna kind of match the moth aesthetic-y, kind of. I don't know. I think I'm gonna ask my husband for a final thought on it. See what he thinks. Sometimes with projects I get like to this point and then I just can't decide what I want to do. And so I didn't want to do another trip to Joann Fabric. But if you say we need to go, we can go to Joann Fabric. But I don't have any like small flowery print, which is what I really want. I want like a cute quilty color, small flower.
Yeah, I don't really like either one of those patterns.
So you think we should go to Joann Fabric? Okay, so you heard the man. I have to go to Joann Fabric to pick something else out. You know, I have to go by what he says. I really kind of want something brown like that. Listen, if it's not something I like to look at, I'm not going to use it. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna be honest about it. So I'm gonna take a picture of that paper pad, all the papers, and then maybe a couple of these together and go check out the fabrics there. Yeah, and I think they have 30% off of their quilter showcase or whatever. So I am going to go get dressed and changed and go to Joann Fabrics. Maybe I'll record a couple clips of some stuff there. Okay, bye.
Hey, darling. Can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey, darling, we could get out of town.
Okay, friends, I am back. I don't remember if I said. So this pad I got out for the inside covers. Right in here. I don't remember if I actually said that, and I wanted to use a different pad because, you know, it's those are single-sided papers. So let's take a look at what I picked out. Okay, so this is what we found. It is so pretty. I think it will look really nice with that, and then it kind of like this grayish black kind of matches this one paper here. We ended up going and grabbing the pad there at Joann Fabrics and kind of just holding it up to stuff, and so there were some like tan ones that I kind of liked, but I also thought that they were just kind of a little boring. So anyway, I think this will be absolutely beautiful. And then as far as the binding, I'll probably use black linen thread for that. Black linen waxed thread. So, oh, isn't that pretty? So pretty. And then they had these moth socks on the way out, so I grabbed a pair of those. Aren't they cute? I got a couple other things, but I'm gonna do that or show the rest of that in my Joann Fabrics video. But we Ended up waiting in line so that I wouldn't pick up other stuff because I really didn't need anything else. Who knows, telling myself I did. But yeah, so I am going to get a piece of this ripped off of this and put these two away. But I really need to make a journal with this or something with this. It's just so pretty. Anyway, alright, I'm going to get busy, and so the rest of this video till the end is probably going to be a voiceover because it'll save a little bit of time and help me with editing. So let's get busy. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is get this fabric tore off. So this will be for the spine, and it will wrap all the way around the book. And I don't know why I had such a hard time getting this tore up. Like, I just could not get a straight edge on it, and I eventually had to trim it with scissors. And so here I am going to get this book taken apart. It was already kind of falling apart, but it needed the pages completely out, and I don't want to like just tear it by hand. So I cut the book pages out, trimmed the edges of the front and back cover, and got ready to get everything glued down. So I cut a piece of card from the back of a watercolor book because it was the only thing I had tall enough for this book. So I guess it's kind of like chipboard, but so I'm going to go ahead and glue that down first with matte Mod Podge, and then I wanted to see how much glue I needed to put on the front cover so I could put that down. But yeah, matte Mod Podge works great for this. If you have Elmer's glue, you know, mix that with a little bit of water so it's just a little bit easier to use. And you can use that for this as well. So I'm not going to put them all the way up to the spine. You want to leave a little bit of room to be able to open the covers. So I'm going to put some more Mod Podge down and pull the fabric over, and yeah, put more Mod Podge on the back, and then I'm going to turn it over and put some more on this side. That's just to seal it all in and make sure, you know, it stays, the book stays together, and that will dry clear. You won't notice that on the book. So now I'm going to get my pages trimmed down. And like I said, we're going to need 2 pages per page. So what I did was leave one at 12 inches. And then I think that I cut the other one down at 8.5. And these will be measurements for your book. Okay, so I took my 12-inch full-size paper, scored that at 8.5. And that way we'll be able to use some double-sided tape to attach those together. And I ended up trimming this part, or the bigger pieces, down. I think I took 1.5 inches off. I just didn't want all of that extra paper. So here I am gluing down some cardstock to the inside, front, and back cover. That way this would completely be drying. I'm using Fabri-Tac for this. I think Fabri-Tac works really well for gluing paper down to the front and back covers. And now we're going to attach the papers together. So I'm going to use some double-sided tape on one side of the 8.5 inch wide paper, the short paper, and then I'm going to put double-sided tape on the fold of the larger size paper, burnish those down, and then this is how Rachel showed to put these together so they line up. Take off the stuff for the tape, line up the corner or the edge with no tape, and then lay it down. And every single one laid down perfectly. I'm so glad she shared that tip of that. And so I got all of my pages together doing this. Just make sure, like I alternated which side the fold was on for my paper, because I thought it would make a difference as far as like stacking the pages together and thickness of it, but I really didn't notice a difference. Once you get these taped together, I mean, it looks so cohesive because I used the same paper. And then I really didn't notice any extra bulk. But I'm running out of time for this video, so I will continue in part 2.